Welcome to the Dream Stories channel, your sanctuary for relaxation and sleep. Close your eyes, let go of your worries, and embark on a journey to tranquility with our soothing narratives. Get ready to unwind and drift into a world of peaceful dreams. Subscribe and join us in this blissful escape. Sweet dreams await you. The Fisher of Dreams. Once upon a time, in a small coastal village called Serenity Cove, there lived a humble fisherman named Samuel. He was known for his love of the sea and his skill in navigating the waters. Every day, he would set out in his small wooden boat, guided by the stars and the rhythm of the waves, in search of a bountiful catch to provide for his family and the village. Samuel's boat was weathered but sturdy, a faithful companion that had weathered many storms. The sea was both his livelihood and his sanctuary, a place where he found peace and solace amidst the vastness of the horizon. One morning, as the first rays of the sun painted the sky with hues of gold, Samuel felt an inexplicable urge to venture farther into the sea than he had ever gone before. The tides seemed to whisper to him, calling him towards an unknown destination. His heart pounded with both excitement and trepidation as he decided to follow his instincts. Setting sail, he left the familiar shores of Serenity Cove behind and ventured into uncharted waters. The farther he went, the more he felt a mystical presence enveloping him, as if the sea itself held secrets waiting to be revealed. As noon approached, the wind picked up, and a gentle mist surrounded Samuel's boat. He felt a deep sense of peace and belonging, as though he was no longer just a fisherman, but a part of the sea's soul. The waters seemed to respond to his every thought and movement, guiding him towards a magnificent sight he had never seen before. In the distance, he spotted a radiant, otherworldly island. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, with lush vegetation and dazzlingly vibrant flowers blooming along the shoreline. The island seemed to emit a magical aura, drawing Samuel closer with an irresistible allure. Against all logic, he continued his journey towards the island, feeling both apprehension and awe. As he neared the shore, a magnificent creature, half woman and half fish, emerged from the water. She had shimmering scales, sparkling eyes, and long flowing hair that mirrored the colors of the sea. "My name is Celine," she said, her voice melodious, like the crashing waves. "You have ventured to the Isle of Dreams, a realm between the world of men and the depths of the sea. You are brave and curious, Samuel, and I have been watching you for a long time." Samuel was mesmerized by Celine's beauty and grace. He learned that she was the guardian of this magical place, where dreams merged with reality and the boundaries of the imagination blurred. Celine shared stories of ancient seafarers who were drawn to this island in pursuit of their deepest desires, and how their dreams became intertwined with the sea's mysteries. For days, Samuel stayed on the Isle of Dreams, basking in its enchantment. He discovered treasures beyond imagination, not in material wealth, but in the wonder and wisdom he gained from the experiences he lived through his dreams. He felt an overwhelming connection to the sea, and understood that it held a universe of knowledge and love. But the time came When Samuel knew he had to return to his village, Celine smiled knowingly, acknowledging his responsibilities and the love he had for his family. She gifted him a beautiful, luminescent seashell and told him it would lead him back to the Isle of Dreams whenever his heart yearned for it. With a heavy heart and gratitude in his soul, Samuel bid farewell to Celine and the enchanting island. As he sailed back towards Serenity Cove, he marveled at how his journey had transformed him. The mystical encounter with Celine had awakened a deeper understanding of the world and his place in it. Back in his village, Samuel shared the tales of his adventure with wide-eyed wonder, inspiring the villagers to cherish the sea even more. He continued to fish, but now he did so with a newfound reverence for the ocean, understanding that it held more than just fish. It carried dreams and stories from countless generations. From that day on, whenever the sea whispered to him, Samuel would look to the horizon, holding the luminescent seashell close to his heart. The Isle of Dreams remained a beacon of magic and inspiration, reminding him that the boundaries of reality were not fixed, and that life itself was a grand adventure. And so, the fisherman of Serenity Cove continued to sail the seas, his small boat brimming with dreams, weaving tales of wonder and hope for generations to come. For in the depths of the ocean and the depths of the human heart lies a universe of dreams waiting to be explored. The inheritance of hope. In a small, picturesque town called Maplewood, nestled in the rolling hills of the countryside, lived an elderly woman named Evelyn Thompson. She had lived there all her life and was known for her warm smile, generous heart, and love for the town's history. A quaint little cottage, surrounded by a blooming garden, had been her sanctuary for decades. As Evelyn grew older, she began to realize that she wouldn't be able to take care of her home forever. Her children had all moved away, leading busy lives in distant cities, and she knew she needed to make a decision about her property. One day, she gathered her family together for a heartfelt discussion. With her children and grandchildren seated around the fireplace, Evelyn spoke softly. "My dears, I've reached a point in life where I must think about the future of our home. I've decided to make a difficult decision, and I hope you will understand." She explained that she intended to leave her property to someone who would cherish it as she had, ensuring that Maplewood's history and her memories would be preserved for future generations. It was a unique proposition. She wanted to create a legacy that would outlive her, a beacon of hope for the town she loved so dearly. Her family respected her wishes, albeit with some mixed emotions. They knew how much the home meant to Evelyn, and they also knew that selling it could bring significant financial benefits. However, they were touched by her desire to preserve the essence of Maplewood and decided to support her decision wholeheartedly. Word of Evelyn's unique inheritance spread throughout the town, and many residents were intrigued by the idea. Applications poured in from young and old alike, all hoping to be chosen as the inheritor of her beloved home. To everyone's surprise, Evelyn decided that instead of picking one person, she would invite the entire community to participate in a competition of sorts. The competition would involve a series of challenges and tasks that would test the participants' knowledge of the town's history, their creativity, and their ability to work together. Evelyn wanted to find someone who not only appreciated the past, but also had the vision to carry the town into a bright future. As the competition began, the town was abuzz with excitement. Teams formed, consisting of both lifelong residents and newcomers, all eager to prove their worthiness. Each challenge showcased the beauty of Maplewood's history, from scavenger hunts with historical clues to storytelling nights around the fireplace. The townspeople poured their hearts and souls into the tasks. They cleaned up the parks, organized charity events, and held workshops to teach others about the town's rich heritage. Throughout it all, Evelyn watched with delight as her community flourished and bonded even more tightly together. As the competition drew to a close, it became evident to everyone that the true reward was not just the inheritance of Evelyn's cottage, but the sense of unity and love that had developed within the town. Bonds had been formed, friendships forged, and the entire community had become a close-knit family. On the day of the final challenge, Evelyn stood before the gathered participants, her eyes glistening with tears of pride and joy. "My dear friends," she said, "I couldn't be prouder of each and every one of you. You've shown me the true essence of Maplewood, a community that cherishes its past and works together to build a brighter future." Evelyn then announced that the cottage would be turned into a community center, a place where residents could come together to celebrate their heritage, learn from each other, and create new memories. She also revealed that the money from the sale of the property would be used to establish a scholarship fund for local students pursuing history and community-related studies. The town erupted into cheers, and tears of happiness were shed as the legacy of hope and unity that Evelyn had dreamed of became a reality. The community center became a hub of activity, hosting workshops, art exhibitions, and events that celebrated the spirit of Maplewood. In the years that followed, the town continued to thrive, attracting new residents who were drawn to the sense of belonging and togetherness that had become synonymous with Maplewood. Evelyn's children and grandchildren watched with pride as their mother's vision had a lasting impact, not just on their small town, but on all who encountered its remarkable story. And so, the legacy of Evelyn Thompson lived on, not just within the walls of a quaint cottage, but in the hearts of an entire community, reminding them that hope, love, and unity were the true treasures that could endure for generations to come. A tale of survival in the enchanted forest. Once upon a time, a daring adventurer found himself lost in the heart of a dense wildlife-infested forest. Surrounded by predatory animals and mysterious birds, he knew he had to fight against time to escape. With the dark nights closing in, his only companion was the flickering flame of his fire, and eerie sounds echoed around him. Undeterred by fear, he mustered his strength to face the challenges. Every day, he pushed forward, guided only by the river's flow. The journey was arduous, and his determination was tested by the haunting sounds that seemed to emanate from the shadows themselves. As he struggled to survive, he honed his instincts, learning to differentiate between friend and foe in this enchanted wilderness. The forest, it seemed, had a way of luring him into its clutches, but his resilience never wavered. Each nightfall brought an ominous veil of darkness, but he persevered, finding solace in the crackling fire and the stars that watched over him. The forest's secrets unveiled themselves in eerie whispers, yet his determination prevailed. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, as the survivor pressed on with unwavering faith. He learned to forage for food and navigate through the tangled web of vegetation. Adversity became his ally, and the forest became less daunting. As time passed, the survivor began to recognize signs of human presence nearby. Renewed hope surged within him as he followed the river's course, believing it would lead him to civilization. His optimism was rewarded when the distant sound of human activity reached his ears. With newfound vigor, he quickened his pace, battling exhaustion and uncertainty. Finally, on a fateful day, he emerged from the wilderness and stumbled upon a small settlement. Joyous tears streamed down his cheeks as he was welcomed by the warmth of human companionship. The villagers listened in awe as he recounted his incredible journey through the mystical forest. His story of survival against all odds left them inspired and grateful for the comforts they often took for granted. From that day forward, the survivor became a legend among the people of the settlement, a symbol of courage and an inspiration to anyone facing adversity. He knew that the forest had changed him forever, making him stronger, resilient, and more appreciative of the value of life. In the heart of the enchanted forest, his fire still burns, a testament to the power of the human spirit to overcome even the darkest of challenges. And so, his remarkable tale of survival lives on. A reminder that in the face of the unknown, one can find strength and hope, leading to the discovery of the most wondrous treasures that life has to offer. The resilient captive, triumph of justice. Once upon a time, in the distant land of Aranthia, a young man named Ethan found himself unjustly accused of a crime he did not commit. The corrupt and tyrannical ruler, King Valerius, sought to silence anyone who dared question his reign. In a sinister plot to maintain his grip on power, he framed Ethan for a heinous act of treason, sentencing him to a life of imprisonment in the dreaded dungeon of Eldoria. For years, Ethan endured the bleak existence of an oppressed prisoner, confined to the dark and damp walls of his cell. Tortured and humiliated, he refused to confess to a crime he had not committed. With each passing day, his hope for justice waned, and he feared that the truth would be forever hidden in the shadows of the kingdom. As the years turned into decades, rumors began to spread throughout the kingdom about an ancient prophecy foretelling the rise of a just and noble hero who would deliver Aranthia from its oppressive ruler. Whispers of hope reached Ethan's ears, sparking a glimmer of optimism in his heart. He clung to the prophecy, believing that one day the true perpetrator of the crime would be exposed and justice would prevail. Unbeknownst to Ethan, a group of rebels led by a fearless and charismatic woman named Elara had been secretly fighting against King Valerius's tyranny. Elara had spent years gathering evidence of the king's atrocities and was determined to bring him to justice. But to expose the truth, she needed a crucial piece of evidence: the confession of the real culprit. In a twist of fate, Alara stumbled upon a hidden chamber in the depths of the castle, where long-forgotten records were stored. Among the dusty tomes, she discovered a letter written by the king's most trusted advisor, revealing that the true culprit behind the crime was none other than the advisor himself. He had orchestrated the entire plot to eliminate a potential threat to the king's rule. Alara's heart raced with excitement as she realized that the key to Ethan's freedom and justice lay within her grasp. She assembled her loyal companions and devised a daring plan to infiltrate the dungeon of Eldoria and confront the captive young man. When they reached Ethan's cell, they were met with astonishment and disbelief. For him, the years had blended into a blur, and he could hardly believe that a glimmer of hope had arrived at last. With tears of gratitude in his eyes, Ethan confessed to the rebels that he had been innocent all along. His newfound allies presented the damning evidence they had discovered, and together they devised a strategy to expose the truth to the kingdom. But the road to justice was fraught with danger and uncertainty, as the corrupt king would stop at nothing to silence any threat to his rule. Alara and her companions rallied the oppressed citizens of Aranthia, encouraging them to stand united against their tyrant king. The revelation of the conspiracy spread like wildfire, igniting a spark of rebellion in the hearts of the people. The streets of Aranthia echoed with chants of freedom and justice, and the tide began to turn against King Valerius. As the oppressed masses united in their fight for justice, the king's once unshakable grip on power began to crumble. In a climactic showdown, Alara and her allies confronted the king in the throne room, armed not with weapons, but with the truth. The citizens of Aranthia stood as witnesses, demanding accountability for the years of injustice. In the face of overwhelming evidence and the sheer will of the people, King Valerius had no choice but to relinquish his throne. The real traitor, his advisor, was apprehended, and justice was finally achieved for Ethan. The kingdom rejoiced as the oppressive reign came to an end, and a new era of justice and prosperity dawned. Ethan, now free and vindicated, became a symbol of resilience and hope for the people of Aranthia. He joined Alara and her companions in their efforts to rebuild the kingdom, ensuring that the lessons of the past were never forgotten. Together, they forged a brighter future where justice and fairness prevailed for all. And so, the tale of the resilient captive, triumph of justice, echoed through the generations, serving as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the pursuit of truth and the unwavering will to fight for justice can ultimately lead to the downfall of oppression and the triumph of hope.